everybody, it's me, Claire, and welcome back to my Red Chair. We are incredibly excited that you're joining us here at Synergy Services for our weekly Red Chair Chat. So help us celebrate the good in the community together every Friday at 1:00 p.m. for our Red Chair Chats, as we share some of our favorite good news. This week, we're celebrating our superheroes. Amid the COVID-19 pandemic, many teachers shifted from standard teaching to e-learning in a matter of days, learning new technology, putting together lesson plans, and finding ways to let their students know they were still thinking of them. Today, I'm very excited to introduce to you several special guests joining me on the Red Chair as we celebrate some of the heroes in our community, our incredible teachers. With that being said, bring on the good news. This week, we are very excited to introduce to you Mr. Michael Dragan of Heritage Middle School. Mr. Dragan, thank you so much for joining us on the Red Chair Chat today.
Thank you for having me.
My first question for you, how are you doing amid all of this?
I think I'm doing about the same as most people, just living one day at a time and making the best of an unusual situation.
Oh, aren't we all? Well, thank you so much, Mr. Dragan. We talked earlier about how you are a teacher. Thank you very much for what you do. Tell me a little bit, how did you decide to become a teacher and what drew you to that career?
I loved a lot of things in school, but I loved music the most. And so I decided I'd go into that profession. And not to sound, arrogant or anything, but I thought I had something to offer. And that thing was a real love and passion and enthusiasm for learning and for learning music, and that it wouldn't be right to keep it to myself. So I decided I'd go into teaching as the best way to share that with other people.
That's incredible. It seems like you absolutely love what you do.
Yeah.
And could you talk a little bit more about what your role exactly is at Heritage Middle School?
Yes, I'm the director of bands at Heritage Middle School, so I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade band. We in Liberty School District, we start in 6th grade, so I teach beginners, 2nd year and 3rd year. I also teach with the high school bands at Liberty North High School, so I'm in 2 buildings a day.
Wow, so you're on the move at all times.
Yes, and I get to see a lot of these kids for 7 years.
Well, obviously this school year looked a little different
Indeed.
than expected. So would you share with us a little bit about what it was like shifting from in-person learning to the virtual learning that we're at now?
Challenging, to say the least. It is the nature of what I teach on the daily basis is a performing art, and it's a collaborative art, and it's being live and in person for immediate feedback is one of the most critical components of teaching a performance ensemble. And with that taken away, I had to really shift to a growth mindset of I don't know how to do this yet, and I'm going to learn. And that's what I hope to encourage in my students as well. Whenever they say they don't know how to do something, I always want them to add the word yet to the end of it, so you can think about, no, you don't know how to do this yet. And in fact, everything you know how to do, at one point you didn't know how to do it. So I was like, I guess I have to walk the walk now. I don't know how to teach a collaborative ensemble music class while I'm at home by myself and everybody else is at home by themselves. So I just had to kind of really sit down and remember that I'm a teacher first and a teacher of this particular subject second. So what did I want to teach? And what I came up with, what were my priorities, number one is that I wanted to make sure the kids felt that I cared about them and that they were valued and important and still part of the band family, even though we were all apart. Number two, I wanted them to have fun making music. When you perform on an instrument, it's called playing. So it should be fun. So connection, joy, and then skill building that was what I decided to focus on during this time.
That's incredible. Well, since you are sitting on the Red Chair, and since here we celebrate all things good news, do you have a piece of good news that you've seen, maybe that you've experienced while working with your students since all of this began?
The good news would be just finding out even more. I already knew, but finding out even more how awesome my students are.
How incredible. Well, Mr. Dragan, Michael, thank you so much for being here with us
My
today.
pleasure.
It is incredible to see not only the work that you're doing, but the impact you're making amid all of this, the adjustment that you've made in a matter of days, weeks to shift to this e-learning.
And ongoing. It's an ongoing adjustment.
From all of us at Synergy, we did want to give you something as just a small appreciation token for everything that you're doing, the students you continue to impact, the impact you're making on our community here. So I want to leave you with this red colored package today
wonderful.
for joining
Wonderful.
us here. Truly, we're thankful to have you as a leader, a role model in this community, and thank you, Michael, for joining us for some good news on the Red Chair.
Thank you.
Wow, what an awesome teacher. Mr. Dragan and all of the incredible teachers across our country impact the lives of students each and every single day. And let me tell you, that is some good news. Our very next special guest that I want to introduce to you works hands-on with many teachers and students throughout our community. I am so very excited to introduce to you Synergy Services' very own Rachel Nelson, school-based therapist for the School-Based Integrated Services Program. Let's give her a warm welcome to the Red Chair. Rachel, hello. Thank you so much for joining us here today on the Red Chair. How have you been with all of this going on?
Hi, Claire. Thanks for having me, first of all. And, well, it's been kind of an up and down kind of roller coaster. Really learning a lot of new things and learning to let go of some control. And so that's good for me and all of us. But feeling pretty good about where we are right now.
I think on all of our ends, that's kind of where we're navigating and
Absolutely.
getting to. And well, I know our viewers would love to know a little bit more about what an average day looks like for you. So could you tell us a little bit more about what your role looks like within the School-Based Integrated Services Program?
Okay, so like you probably know, I'm a school-based therapist. And personally, I'm in 9 different buildings per week, 3 different school districts. So I typically, go to my first school early in the morning and see the clients I have there, and then go to the next school and then see the rest of the clients there. And so I kind of bounce around every day to different schools, seeing kids, providing individual therapy and group therapy in the school building.
How busy!
It is busy, yes, I like it that way.
And what an impactful program that you get to lead and be a part of. So with all of this, the global changes we're seeing amid this pandemic, can you explain to us a little bit about what that shift looked like from normalcy to where we're at now within your program?
A lot of us hadn't done mental health before. We are so used to being one-on-one with clients and being on the floor and games, and I do a lot of play therapy techniques, like I said, and so that one-on-one is such a huge part of the therapeutic relationship, that we all had to kind of let that go a little bit for now and figure out how we're gonna provide the same quality services and build relationships, keep relationships via either Zoom or DoxyMe, or even sometimes some of our families don't have access to that, so telephone, even like telephone sessions. So it's really been a learning process, and there are some really creative techniques out there, and we all just kind of learn from each other, and we're figuring it out.
And how amazing is that your whole team has adapted to this and gotten used to it, and of course the help that you're still providing families amid all of this. And I feel even across the board at Synergy that all of the programs just jumped in and said, here we go, this is our challenge ahead of us.
That's exactly what we did.
And well, thank you, Rachel, for everything that you and your team is doing actively right now in our community. So in honor of being here with me on the Red Chair, and in honor of the celebration of our good news, I heard that you have some good news to share from the Synergy School-Based Integrated Services Program.
I really do. I wanted to say, I know that earlier this month was Teacher Appreciation Week, and I know that the teachers weren't in school to get all the love and support that they deserve, that they usually do on that week. And I just wanted to say from the school-based team that for all teachers, for bus drivers, for social workers, for secretaries, for custodians and cafeteria workers and admin and school nurses and central office. I'm telling you, there are so many amazing professionals in the school building that make an impact on kids every day. That support that the school and the people there just envelop our kids with, the support and compassion and nurturing that happens on a daily basis, is like no other I've seen. I just wanted everybody, every school staff member, to know that we see you and we see what you're doing, and we know that you're making a difference, and we just feel so appreciative to be a part of that. When we come into your schools to provide therapy, it means the world, and it is making a difference. I know because of kids I've worked with over, years and years doing this, they feel the same way, and they miss you guys.
Wow. They do, they really do. And it's stories just like that remind us that even when it seems like there's no good news out there, have no worries. Rachel, thank you so much, and thank you to all of our teachers, all of the support staff at the schools.
Yes.
But thank you for joining us on the Red Chair
this
Friday, and thank you for what you do to not only life change but life save right here in our community.
Absolutely, it's my life's passion.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you, Claire.
Well, my friends, that was a lot of good news. Here at Synergy, you saw firsthand some of the good news happening in our programs, just like our school-based integrated services program. And across the community, good news is created by so many people, including our hardworking teachers, dedicated to their students' success, just like Mr. Dragan. All in all, we couldn't do it without our entire community rallying around one another and becoming the heroes, the helpers, the supporters. So thank you all for being the helpers right here in our community. Speaking of helpers, are you interested in getting involved with Synergy Services? Mr. Dragan does a huge drive for us around the holiday season every year. Interested in doing something similar? Here's how. On behalf of Mr. Dragan, Rachel Nelson, and myself, Claire, thanks for joining us this week on the Red Chair. We'll be back next Friday for our next Red Chair chat with even more special guests and even more good news. Have a great weekend, and don't forget